So we are now on Sinners viewing number 3, and I've been holding off on making videos about it because I really didn't want to spoil it, but now it's been a week and I don't give a shit. Um I'm extremely sorry. Now, this video is going to be around Delroy Lindo's Delta Slim. He tells a fantastic story, and I really wanted to get into it because it's so interesting how it connects to the way in which the playbook for destroying a black man really hasn't changed in the last like 100 years, right? So Delta Slim tells a story of him and his best friend. They decide, you know what? Tired of making money at these black juke joints. What we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to start playing the blues at white juke joints. So they gather up their stuff, they head off to the white juke joints, and they start playing the blues. And the white people love it. It's like the greatest thing ever. It's absolutely fantastic. They're showering them with money and tips and everything that they want. And when it's all said and done, him and his friend decide to go their separate ways. The friend decides, you know what? I'm going to leave from here. I'm going to move out west. I'm going to get myself a small little church, and I'm going to start working to basically help and build my community. He goes down to the train station. The conductor asks for $2. He reaches into his pocket. He takes out the water cash. The conductor sees the water cash and he runs off to the Klan. He tells the Klan there's a rich one down there at the train station. The Klan run down there. They drag him off the train. They beat him. They tell a lie. They say that he stole the money from a good honest white man and that he essayed that good honest white man's wife. And then they string him up in from a post in the train station. And just to add insult to injury, they chop off his manhood to essentially prove a point. And Delta Slim uses that as an example of why he drinks. Because when they ask him, "Well, what did you do with it?" He shakes his canteen to show that I'd spent it all on liquor after I saw what happened to my friend. And I thought how that is an allegory for how if black interests don't line up with white interests, or if black interests supersede white jealousy, how the playbook will be used in order to either destroy that black movement, corrupt that black movement, or destroy that black individual. So, for an example, let's say Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? The Tulsa Massacre. The idea of a black community that was separate from the white community, that didn't need to rely on the white community, that was completely self sufficient, that had its own businesses, that had its own banks. That idea offended people. And it offended them to the point that they used a small situation to blow it up into a big enough situation that they could go in, raid, raise, burn down, drive out all of the people, all of the businesses, all of the lives that were in that area. And then once everything was scorched, they swooped in, and on the back end, they bought up all that land and all those shops that used to be black owned and turned them back into their own businesses, right? But then we can even use a more recent example. Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick decided to take a stand for an injustice, right? He used his platform to speak about an injustice. What ended up happening? It was a modern day basic lynching where Colin Kaepernick's integrity was called into account. He's just a football player. Why is he stepping outside of his station? He has no right to use football as a platform to talk about awareness and or should I say bring awareness to these situations that African Americans are dealing with on a daily basis. And while that is happening, you had other black athletes who were attacking him at the time. Ray Lewis, I'm looking at you. You may be my boy because you play for the fucking Ravens. But I remember when you were basically throwing shade at Colin Kaepernick's way for drawing attention to the NFL. And then when, was it Jerry Jones or was it head of the Ravens called you saying that they needed you to basically get down on both your knees. Colin Kaepernick only got down on one knee, But when Trump threatened the NFL and the owners needed to rally and turn it into a racial cause, you were the first one to throw yourself down on both your knees and basically give the waterworks in order to gain some level of sympathy. And that is a perfect allegory for how it essentially is. Because there were two outcomes to Delta Slim's friend getting lynched in that train station. The first outcome is that the vicious Klan members got an example of what they would do to any successful black man that stepped out of line. Black people saw that and went, he tried to get above his station or he tried to escape from the life. He should have known better. Then there were the ones like Delta Slim that basically saw that and realized that they were essentially trapped and decided, you know what, fuck it. If I'm trapped, I may as well not feel anything. And all they did was drink on a daily basis. And then you had the other whites that probably didn't side with the Klan, but they were shielded by the color of their skin, who probably saw that like as a warning, like, yeah, maybe you should, like, not try and rise above your station. Kind of just basically stay down there. And I just thought it was crazy how you could see that, and you could also read between the lines and see just how many times that situation repeats itself over and over and over and over and over again through history. The most recent example, or at least one of the most recent examples of, let's say, a big figure who also took flack was during the George Floyd um the George Floyd movement, right? LeBron was talking about how there has to be better accountability for the way in which police treat people. And Laura Ingraham gets on TV and basically tries to demonize LeBron, telling him, how about you just shut up and dribble? And all this other type of shit. And they tried to take down LeBron until they realized that, yeah, LeBron's a little bit too big to probably attempt to destroy. It was easy to destroy Colin Kaepernick because he was already on his way out with his team. So when his team cut ties, it was basically easy for everybody else to blackball him and turn their backs on him. But in regards to LeBron, LeBron was at the height of his his ascendancy in the NBA. Like, he's the king for a reason. So it was impossible to essentially attempt to tear him down in any way, shape, or form. But then Cat Williams comes out, and Cat Williams talks about how in regards to Jonathan Majors. And he was like, you could be Kang the Conqueror, and they can take that shit away from you in 2 weeks. And funnily enough, just recently, you look at the situation with Shannon Sharp, where, he has these relationships with all these women that aren't attempting to come at him criminally, but are attempting to get money out of him civilly with either no evidence, doctored evidence, which is the doctored audio tape, clearly trying to steer him in the conversation on the phone to get answers that you're hoping to get from him, and how now he's losing sponsorships and ESPN deals and all this other type of stuff. And the playbook really hasn't changed. The playbook has been the same for the last 100 years. Shit, this movie only takes place 100 years ago, but you can say the playbook's been the same for the last 200 years. And I like how Ryan Coogler highlights that, because you don't get it the first time you see the movie. You only start to get it and you only start to piece it together the more and more you watch it. And the more and more you watch it, the more and more you're like, wait a minute, hold on. This connects to this, but then this also that. And then that's the thing that happened over here. And then this is also the thing that happened over here. And it's like, wait a minute. The government did pass laws that prevented black fathers from being inside the household if they weren't married. Wait a minute. They also did pass other laws that said that you can't receive food stamps or money to help feed your children if that person wasn't married to you and living inside the house, or if there was a situation going on with the person that you were married to. It's like, wait a minute. We were experimented on and there were drugs flooded into the community. Hold on now. So instead of having public works to restore parks and fix roads, they actually hired 2,000 more police officers to police this one really, really small subsect of the entire fucking city. Yes, it has always been a game. The game has not changed, it's just evolved. But the fundamental planning, the foundations of the game really have not changed.